another founder in car, and today we will discuss my favorite car brands and why. I have some car brands that you might not think that are that good, but I will also show you and talk you through why I think those car brands are very nice. One of the car brands that I really like is Porsche. I also like Suzuki, and that might be a little bit different. I like Abarth as a brand a lot, and I like Mini, and I like also Dacia. So I will just leave it at those 5 brands for now, because that's easy. I had a very big passion with Honda, which I still like, so that could be the bonus one, the 6th one. So first of all, why do I like Suzuki? Suzuki, I drive now Suzuki Swift Sport. I had in the past a Swift GTI, so that's one of the first generation sporting the Suzukis. I also had 2 Ignis Sports, HD81S is the code name. This was in Japan also named a Swift Sport, but in Europe it was an Ignis. And I'm now driving this latest incarnation of the Suzuki Swift Sport, the hybrid. So I have quite a passion with this brand, and that gives you a little bit background. But what do I really like about Suzuki? They are very reliable. The current car I get 6 years of warranty. It gives you a lot of insight about the reliability. They are not overpriced, but they offer a lot of functionality and a lot of options that a lot of other cars you will pay thousand euros, and they have one main focus point, and that I like the most. The main focus point is to have a simple system that really works in real life conditions. For example, this Swift Sport has a hardtech platform, which makes it lighter, stiffer, and also more roomy, while the external dimensions are not that much increased, which is fantastic. How many manufacturers make their car like that? More simple, stiffer, and still all the additional hardware for safety features, etc. can be plugged in, and you have a lot of interior room with minimal exterior dimensions. And the lightness is such a good thing. If you compare this with other cars, this is 995 kilograms, and this is very heavy Swift Sports of this generation, because it already had the hybrid system in. Then you look at the hybrid system, look at the Toyota Yaris, also say B segment like the Swift, but it's so much heavier. It's easy, almost 200 kilogram heavier. It also has a hybrid system. It has less horsepower. So what happened here? And it also does not have a turbo and intercooler like this Swift Sport does have. So what they did, they only added what is really needed on the hybrid system. So very small battery and very small electric engine. That keeps the weight down. It's very simple. And the interior room is even better, especially at the back compared to the Yaris, while the car is a lot lighter. They have instead of the system that is applied in the Yaris, it's also very functional. It's an Atkinson cycle engine, which is really good in a hybrid system. It can really easily be shut off and started again. But this is, as the electric engine, is not an intrusive part. You just have the driver excitement. You don't have that shift between electric engine and internal combustion engine as you have in the Yaris. And you have a 6-speed gearbox, which I like also a lot. So driving pleasure is at the heart of this car, and they have this focus for the Swift. It should be a joy to drive. And they have other cars that have a completely different focus field. But all of the cars in the current Suzuki lineup, and also in the past very often, are very light. So you get a lot of fun out of that, and that I really like about it, next to all the other points I already addressed. Then Dacia. Why do I like Dacia? Dacia is not a sexy brand, and you would be right. I think it's one of the most boring brands in many dimensions. But what they offer is tremendous value for money, a no-nonsense approach. And I think nowadays we are paying so much for simple transportation. That's a very nice breeze of fresh air. So therefore I also nominated Dacia. and you get a lot of car for your buck. And they even now have turbo engines. In the past I like the 1.6 110 horsepower engine also a lot. So those are two. I also mentioned Abarth, the Scorpion branded car manufacturer. It's just a Fiat with really big balls, so to say. And they had two models. I think they still have one, the 121, which is a Fiat stake on the Mazda MX-5, which was developed jointly, and it has a 1.4 turbo engine instead of the naturally aspirated engines the Mazda has. And of course the turbo, like this in the Swift Sports, offers tremendous tuning potential, which is beneficial. And also it has its own identity. And then when you look what Abarth made out of it, it turns the sound on 11. It's so brutal. The sound of an Abarth is in its class so magnificent, which I really like. And also they have their branding. How sexy can it be? We talked about non-sexy with Dacia, but Abarth oozes just sexuality to me. The Scorpion logo is spot on, very nice, and they have it around the car. It's not a specific type of Fiat, it's just an entirely different brand. And if you look what they did with all those special versions of the 500 that they now call the 595 or 695, etc. And they even made the Porsche with what's like 60,000 euros or more in the Netherlands for a 500, the glorified 500 with only 2 seats. You must love them. They had a dog box into it they have this very nice shifting patterns, such high-tech materials. But in its essence, it is a far less competent car as you compare it to this Suzuki Swift Sport. It has 5 cores, it's even lighter, and you could also tune that to the moon, and then you have a better car, in my opinion. But I really like the brand Abarth. I like the logo, I like the branding. They make it stiff, to make it loud, to make it just mischievous, which is I really like. I also like the adverts that they make, the marketing. I really love this small company that has such a nice, stingy taste that they just deliver. From a non-exotic and achievable standpoint, I think you will be hard-pressed to be better off to have something exclusive and the experience of a real supercar type of deal than with Abarth. So that makes 3. I also mentioned that I like Mini. And why do I like Mini? They have one concept, only Mini, and they make so many models out of them. They have the really nice retail styling, and I think it's just a very nice brand all in. I don't like that they are getting a lot heavier lately, and also the playfulness is now removed to a big degree. I think this is more the spiritual successor than the current Mini of the heyday, because it's more simple, more lightweight, and more cleverly designed. But hey, Mini is Mini, and I think it's a very nice brand. Also, BMW has added over the years a lot of quality to the brand. In the past, they started with Chrysler source engines, then they had a PSA, so Peugeot and Citroën source engine, which I also did not like. But where they are sitting now, with the Cooper with a 1.5 turbo 3-cylinder, which is just the plug and play, because they have only 500cc per cylinder through the entire BMW range, so to speak. And also the 2-liter for the Cooper S and the John Cooper Works, which are just magnificent power plants to begin with. So I like that brand as well. So we are up to 4 now, I think. Now remembering what the 5th was. Porsche. Now why do I like Porsche that much? Porsche really makes dedicated sport cars. You can forget the entire different branching of Porsche, because now they lean so much on sport utility vehicles, the Macan and also the Cayenne before that. But the heart and soul of Porsche is the 911. It was that all over, and that gives you a supercar that can shame many a hypercar, especially in a Turbo S configuration or GT3. I drove the GT3 on the circuit of Assen a whole day, the GT3 RS Carbon Edition, and it was a magnificent car. Really, really so hard on the brakes. Such a visceral experience when you also have such a high revving, naturally aspirated engine. It's just perfect and very light. So for me, when I say Porsche, I will say 911, but I also really feel that the Taycan, which is the electronic version now of the Panamera or 911, something in between, so smaller than the Panamera, which is also a very nice car for a sports sedan, and 911, a real sports car. It's a very nice proposition. So they bring also in the electric car a lot of emotion and functionality, and they will also increase the benefits that Tesla is bringing to the table, because they will keep each other sharp. So those are the 5 brands I really like at the moment. And the 6th one was the bonus one, which is Honda. And I have a very long relationship that I admire Honda because of the VTEC. They had a very high, how do you say this? High output per liter of displacement, but nowadays Honda is not anymore the king of displacement. So horsepower per liter is not longer the strong point of Honda, because they went turbo, and they had for a while over 100 horsepower per liter naturally aspirated form, and now they of course also have it in turbo form. Now the 2 liter pumps out 320 or more horsepower easily, but there are cars like the AMG A45S which have over 400 horsepower also out of a 2 liter 4-cylinder. So that makes, and the Honda in my example has 160 horsepower per liter in turbocharged form, whereas AMG A45S Mercedes has now 200 horsepower per liter. So they are no longer the king, and that's because the turbo makes it a lot easier to have high efficiency per displacement. But the revvy nature of Honda I really like, and I also like to point out that they have the Type Rs, which are excellent cars. Excellent cars all over. I think this is such an excellent moniker of making a car light, strong and achievable, which really pulls on my heartstrings. Some other cars that brands that I really like include, of course, Tesla. I had them. I think they are very nice in their pioneering role. Also, the supercharging network is spot on, the best of the best. Also, if you look at the efficiency of the drivetrains, they are class leading, and also they have a lot of tech involved. And one more crucial point, they have Elon Musk. Elon Musk is such a magnificent specimen of a human. There's been so many innovations, the leading force, such an excellent entrepreneur. He is out of this world. Sometimes even literally with the SpaceX program, Boring Company, also those the solar program that's now drawn into Tesla again. Yeah, I think he is beyond words, and I would I cannot do him justice in words, but I also like that brand, and I like the brand of Lotus as well, but now Lotus is transferring to Lotus 2.0, and they are leaving the way that they did it for such a long time by adding lightness to have very light and pure cars. And now they will also produce sport utility vehicles and will go to a heavier proposition, which is something I don't like that much, but hey, it's what it is. Another very small car brand that I really like is Segma. They make cars, so-called cars. They're more of kit cars, but they're produced in the factory. And I also had a Segma. They make such a nice car. I had a car with 4 wheels, and disc brakes all around, so at the front and the back, and weighing only 380 kilograms. It was a Segma, and you could go flat out everywhere. Top speed without tuning was about 110 kilometers an hour, sometimes 120, depending a little bit on the inclination that you have to mitigate. But 110, even when you're going up the hill, was possible. But after the tuning, I think I could be reached 130, 140 kilometers an hour easily on 500cc, which was magnificent. Also very nice, pure driving experience. Caterham is a similar type of lightweight approach. Westfield similar. We also have Donkervoort as a Dutch pride. I like the design of Spyker and the TVR very much, but they are not that reliable, and both are almost constantly in a love and death scenario. So living and dying and being loved by the enthusiasts all the time. And another brand that I really like is I was just thinking about it. Now it's lost my mind again. Oh, P now only has one model, the A110, which I really like. Also the original version, but that again brings you a lighter weight construction as compared to, for example, the Cayman, which is a competitor of Porsche, which I like a lot. That's a very good way to approach, in my opinion. It brings you so much more driving involvement, even if it's not faster. And another brand, and then I will close this rant, is that I really like. I just had it in my mind, and now it's phasing out a little bit. Yes, there it is again, Mazda. And why Mazda goes anti-cyclic? All manufacturers go towards turbo, and Mazda still has naturally aspirated engines. Only a few turbo engines now. They also made a rotary engine, which is perhaps being reintroduced. So the RX-7, RX-8 are renowned cars that had a rotary engine. Also they had the Cosmos, more of a sports sedan coupe. More seats than the RX-7 and the RX-8. RX-8 had also had suicide doors, which was very nice and out-of-the-box thinking. But if you really look into it, even their entry sport car, the MX-5, also known as the Miata Roadster, is an excellent car. It's in its essence a reincarnation of the Lot Ceylon, and they also even used the Lot Ceylon plans to make the first cars. But Lotus is an English brand, and then the Japanese perfected and made it reliable. So also that brand specifically pinnacling around that MX-5, Miata, Roadster, whatever you're calling it, is a very nice car brand that I really like. Hope this helps. Have a great day. Foundry Cars out.